I'm Fran Badger. I'm an Honorary Research Fellow at the History of Medicine Unit at the University of Birmingham in Birmingham, UK. My story about the risks of childbirth are actually looking at two women who seemed to manage multiple experiences of childbirth without any or many risks to their health at all. And I think why their story is interesting to relate is that sometimes our perceptions of risk related to childbirth in the 19th century can be coloured by representations in literature which are subsequently translated to the screen. For example, Oliver Twist's mother dies in the workhouse and he is left an orphan. And in Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, Fanny Robin enters the workhouse, gives birth there, and both she and her child die. And these representations might lead us to expect that many mothers died in childbirth. However, this wasn't the experience of the majority of women, certainly in the second half of the 19th century. Leah Webb was born in the West Midlands in 1816. She was married at the age of 20 and gave birth to 7 live children between 1837 and 1855. By this time the family had moved round quite a bit and she and her family had settled in Sheffield. She died aged 86. Her 5th child, Susannah, was born in Lancashire, and she in turn was also married at the age of 20 and gave birth to at least 8 children between 1871 and 1888. There's no evidence of Susannah's pregnancy-related health, but one can possibly fairly reasonably assume that she experienced her childbirth without too much trauma, for she lived till 1955 and died when she was 106. 5 of her children reached adulthood, but 3 died in infancy at 10 months, 2 years of age and 5 years of age. And from the age of 30, oral history relates that she ran the family ironmongery business while her husband worked in the local cutlery industry in Sheffield. And she was widowed in 1912. So these two women, and certainly Susannah, illustrate that multiple experiences of pregnancy and childbirth, along with child rearing, were not incompatible with paid work and with long lives. Presumably in the 19th century, all women were aware of the risks of childbirth, and most would probably have known of friends or relatives or neighbours who had died in childbirth. However, these were not common experiences, certainly towards the end of the century, and there were many, many more women who experienced multiple pregnancies and childbirth and who lived long lives.